Have you thought about how to prepare for the upcoming recession? My name is Dan, and if you're new here, welcome. On this channel, I talk about all things wealth, health and happiness, helping you to live better. In this video, I'll walk you through a little known property strategy that I've used to create a property business with a rent roll of over £1 million per year, all without owning a single property. I'm going to dive deep into the setup process I went through step by step and how I'm able to manage this business without any full-time staff. At the end of the video, I'll share all the numbers, including how much it costs to set up the business, how much it makes, and how much it costs to run. In my opinion, this business is the perfect business when in difficult economic times, either as a side hustle or as your main business, and I'll share with you why. I'll also share with you our deal analysis spreadsheet so you can analyse deals like I did to secure properties like these. If you follow the blueprint I provide, you can recreate exactly what I've created, a perfect recession-proof property business. All I ask if you find value in this video is hitting the like button or consider subscribing, as this helps me and helps share my videos to other people who might get value from them. Thank you. Before we jump in, let's quickly talk about the two main high-level property strategies. Now, I know that there are many more, but at the high level, there are asset growth strategies like development or flipping, or there are cash flow strategies such as buy-to-let. Asset growth strategies rely on property values increasing. Most sources would forecast residential property will double in value every 8 to 10 years. And asset growth strategies are great when property prices are going up, but when they aren't, it's not so great. In times of high inflation, when almost everything is going up in price, development and flipping can become less profitable, as not only do material prices increase, but often interest rates will rise too, making mortgages more expensive. It's also a strategy that requires experience and a particular set of skills. And whilst property courses will tell you it's easy, it really isn't. Right now, it's more important than ever to have a regular and guaranteed source of cash flow. Ideally, multiple streams to protect against a drop in any one of them. And so in this video, we focus on a strategy called rent-to-rent co-living. Now, if you've heard of rent-to-rent before, you may have picked up on the vibe that it's only done by people looking to make a quick buck, and that people without any funds looking for a get-rich-quick scheme love this sort of business. I'm here to tell you that whilst there is no doubt that it does attract that type of person, rent-to-rent co-living, when done well, is an amazing strategy that can be the foundation for a very successful business that provides value to tenants, landlords and estate agents. I know of a London-based operator who have over 1,200 rent-to-rent rooms, acquired mostly through a network of estate agents. Now, you don't need to grow to that size to build a great cash-flowing business, but it certainly demonstrates what's possible with the right mindset. My business has just over 100 rooms, which all started from my very first rent-to-rent deal in 2017. You can see a link to the deal here. Now, this deal didn't make any money because we really didn't know what we were doing back then. But in this video, I'm going to give you a blueprint for success. I'm going to cover every single step of the process to set up and run a successful rent-to-rent co-living business. So here's exactly why rent-to-rent co-living is the perfect recession-proof business model. Number one, low cost of entry. You can spend less than £1,000 to set up the business and acquire your very first property. Number two, it solves a genuine problem for landlords and tenants. Affordable quality for tenants and guaranteed rent and professional property management for landlords. Number three, it's a very decent cash flowing strategy and is one of my main sources of income. I have done deals that net between £500 and £1,000 per month. Number four, it can build your profile in the property world and can open doors to other strategies if that is your plan. So let's talk about how to set up your rent-to-rent business. The first question is whether you want to be a limited company or a sole trader. My advice here is to create a limited business for one main reason: It helps add credibility to your operation, which in the early stages of your business is critical, as you'll be dealing with estate agents, landlords, and property owners who are unlikely to deal with anything other than a professional organisation. Website and marketing. For the same reason as the above, you'll need a website that promotes the business and immediately adds credibility. I use Weebly, but there are a number of awesome web building tools out there, including Squarespace, that enable you to get up and running in a matter of minutes. Finding deals or sourcing. Direct to landlord from a bespoke sourcing agent or direct from estate agents, sourcing property deals is a huge area with many options. For me, I built my business initially through deals with agents, as it made perfect sense to target them as they had access to hundreds of properties. Building personal relationships with 2 or 3 agents can be enough to build a business. I've also secured deals direct to landlords and worked with companies that have done deals through sourcing agents. In short, all of these strategies work and have their own unique pros and cons. My advice would always be to start with agents, but start to cultivate relationships with other property professionals, and before long you'll have connections to sourcing companies and landlords directly. Analysing deals. So having a consistent way of analysing deals is absolutely critical, as it removes emotion from the process. Over time, I became very good at analysing deals and built an incredible tool that enabled us to analyse hundreds of deals on a consistent basis. I've done videos on this before, and there's a link in the description to a copy of the Deal Analyzer. It's totally free and comes highly recommended. For me, every deal now must meet 2 key criteria. The net return on that deal must be at least 20% per month, and the startup costs need to break even within month 6. If a deal meets these criteria, then we would pursue it. If not, then we aren't interested. Good deal analysis involves being capable of making consistent fact-based decisions, and by using a tool we take the emotion out of the deal and analyse purely based on performance. Agreeing the deal. So getting a rent-to-rent deal over the line can be quite tricky, particularly when you're starting out, as you'll have limited credibility. However, if you can clearly explain the huge benefits of the rent-to-rent co-living model to landlords and have set up your business correctly and are professional in your dealings, agreeing the deal can be straightforward. Key elements to a rent-to-rent deal are a monthly rental amount, the length of the deal, any break clauses, compliance, who is responsible and for what, how maintenance is managed and funded, and most importantly, ensuring that you use the correct document funding the deal. One of the huge benefits of rent-to-rent is that financially they require less resource than, say, a flip or a development. However, funding is still needed, and if going through an agent, you will need to demonstrate affordability, which can be a challenge to start. However, there are multiple ways of funding these deals, including from personal savings, with a JV partner, or even bespoke rent-to-rent loans. Setting up the property. A property setup is a super important part of the deal, as you are essentially selling to your audience simply based on your photos. However, setup needn't necessarily be expensive. When I started out, I used to source most of our furniture from second-hand marketplaces like Facebook Marketplace and FreeCycle. It's absolutely amazing what people no longer need and will be looking to get rid of. I also used a bespoke landlord furniture company who have grown from strength to strength and who produce excellent products and come highly recommended. They also offer finance, which can help reduce setup costs. Finding housemates. Whilst there are multiple marketplaces for tenants, it's really super simple for us at least. Over 98% of our customers originate from Spare Room. Like them or hate them, they have a monopoly, particularly in London. We've probably tried over 10 alternatives, but none deliver like Spare Room. Viewings. When I started the business, viewings were a time-consuming, resource-draining activity. They are, however, the lifeblood of the business. No viewings, no customers. Over time, however, I refined the process and now outsource viewings to a company who specialise in providing resources to property companies. We typically arrange a 1-hour viewing window with 6 or 7 viewings booked in. I know from these numbers that we are likely to receive 2 or 3 offers and from there can select one perfectly matched tenant. Managing the property and your housemates. So business as usual in a rental business is super important, and yet very few training courses even give it the time of day. For us, however, this is arguably one of the most important aspects of the business, as keeping housemates happy leads to longer tenancies and therefore more margin. We use a software called Coho to manage all aspect of property management and maintenance. More on this later. How to outsource almost everything. Urban Shared manages 22 properties and I am the only full-time member of staff, although I only work 3 days a week on the business most weeks. I have completely outsourced our admin and back office, including marketing, tenant find, onboarding, viewings, maintenance management, offboarding and renewals. And I've done this at remarkable cost. Our back office is now in the Philippines, and I can say without a shadow of a doubt that this decision has been the best decision I've ever made for Urban Shared. In the past, I had someone based in London doing this who cost over 4 times as much and was nowhere near as experienced or efficient. We've also outsourced viewings to a virtual company who, as well as doing viewings, also offer other services such as photography, inspections, waiting for parcels or suppliers, 3D walkthroughs and a whole lot more. Systems. It will probably come as no surprise that Urban Shared is highly automated. I could, if needs be, run the business from my phone. Our software stack covers every element of the business end to end, including Coho, which is a shared house property management software delivered as a software as a service. Help Me Fix, which is a 24/7, 365 live video support application for tenants. DocuSign, which is online document signing. Go Cardless, which is direct debit and payment management. We use Xero for financial accounting. We use iCloud and Google for document management. And we use Google Sheets for modeling, deal analysis and management accounting. Keeping on top of bills. The shared house market innovated the concept of bills included, which made it super easy for tenants as one payment covered rent and all household bills, making budgeting super easy and removing any arguments around usage. It makes a housemate's life so incredibly simple and easy, and something we believe even today is a very attractive part of our business model. However, as we all know, energy costs have spiked to unprecedented levels, which has squeezed our margins. However, as with every challenge, there are always solutions. We, for example, have a fair usage clause in our contracts, which enables us to claw back any cost over a certain amount of usage. And whilst we've never had to implement before, there is a likelihood that we may need to. We've also spoken with operators who've introduced temporary energy levies. For us, the key to solving this problem is communication and education. And so we have spoken at length to all our tenants, encouraging them to be more energy efficient. This has worked to a certain degree, with usage down year on year in most of our properties. So what happens at the end of a rent-to-rent deal? Often described as the Achilles heel of the rent-to-rent business model and never covered by any training provider, we've done a number of handbacks, and coordinating end dates, tenant offboarding and everything else associated to a handback can be a little bit stressful. But we've now got the process down to a fine art, and in most instances we hand back without any voids created as a result of people leaving early. The key to a handback is good planning and good communication. So let's take a look at some of the numbers. At Urban Shared, we currently manage 103 rooms. Our gross monthly rent roll is £91,979. The rents we pay to landlords are £72,360. Our property costs are £6,727. Note, our landlords pay property costs on a number of our properties. Our salaries, maintenance and void contingency is £2,300, meaning we have a net profit of £10,592. If you found this useful, then please consider liking, subscribing or commenting. Thanks for watching and look forward to seeing you on the next video.